Good evening, and welcome to the Rainbow Review, a program dedicated to bringing you the week's most notable LGBTQ news stories and events. I'm Stephen Ryan, and my co-anchor is Susan Frawley. Good evening, Susan. How are you doing today?
I am fantastic, Stephen. How are you doing?
I'm great. Did you have a good weekend?
I had a special weekend. In fact, I've got to tell you about something that happened to me this weekend. A very good friend of mine, Sue Handley, wanted to go to San Francisco to see a special friend of hers. And so I took her to San Francisco on Thursday, and we had lunch with this old friend of hers. And by the way, Sue Handley is fantastic. We have got to have her on the show one of these days. She is she's fantastic to listen to. But I took her to San Francisco to see this old friend of hers, and the old friend of hers happened to be Phyllis Lyon.
Who's Phyllis Lyon?
Well, for those of you who do not know who Phyllis Lyon is, Phyllis Lyon was one of the founding members of the Daughters of Bilitis, the very first lesbian rights organization founded in 1955. She and her partner, Del Martin, started the organization. They were also the first couple to get married in California in 2004, and then they also got married again in 2008.
Oh, that's great.
It is great. Del passed away a few months after that.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but it was really special for me to get to spend the afternoon with Phyllis Lyon and to go to lunch. I got to have her in my car. And for me, she's one of my big heroes because she's one of the activists from the old days that's still around, one of the very last ones. So I was really, there's me with her. I was very, very excited to have lunch with her too. So that was a great thing for me for the weekend. So we have a fairly positive show for you tonight, which is refreshing. And to start that off, we have an announcement. We have a new member of our Chico community. Santana Isabel Valle was born 4/6/16 at 11:20 p.m., weighing 6 pounds even and 19 1/4 inches long. Her proud parents are Heather and Yael Valle. Welcome to baby Santana, and congratulations to her moms. With so many states facing different legislation, we thought it might be easier to go state by state tonight. States are beginning to ban official travel to the state of Mississippi. The governors of Vermont, Washington State, and New York have all banned state-funded or sponsored travel to the state. The District of Columbia is also considering a ban on travel. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo stated that discrimination is not a New York value. We believe our diversity is our greatest strength, and we will continue to reject the politics of division and exclusion. This Mississippi law is a sad, hateful injustice against the LGBTQ community, and I will not allow any non-essential official travel to that state until it is repealed. Washington's governor said that his state's ban will remain in effect as long as Mississippi law exists in its current form. Mississippi is also facing a growing boycott, just as North Carolina is experiencing. A letter signed by 8 major corporations and drafted by the Human Rights Campaign, similar to one sent to lawmakers in Tennessee, was sent urging the state's Republican leadership to repeal the law. Some of the businesses that signed the letter were General Electric, Hyatt Hotels, Whole Foods, and Dow Chemical.
Many of the stories that we bring to you are negative and show how we are still facing discrimination in many places. But sometimes the best way to relieve that stress from facing this in our lives is with a little comedy. Funny or Die has changed a Mississippi tourist commercial to reflect the state's new discriminatory legislation.
We're Mississippi. We're proud of our Southern values, magnolia trees, and hot days. Now, thanks to Governor Bryant, we have an oppressive law to match our oppressive heat. Here, you can march to the beat of your own drum as long as that beat harkens back to 1888. Visit one of our soul food restaurants and swallow your sense of humanity. Toast to being the state with the 3rd highest teen pregnancy rate. Come dance your heart out without the fear of a gay man or lesbian showing you up. Paddle your way through semantics that justify discrimination. Explore nature with your nuclear family while explaining to your kids why being different is bad and why sex is scary. Soak up the fun in our national chain restaurants and stores before they pack up and leave. Walk amongst mansions previously inhabited by slave owners and now inhabited by bigots. Explore our vast collection of books before we burn them all. And fish in the quiet solitude of knowing that you've been left behind by history. Visit Mississippi. We're even worse than North Carolina.
Ellen, who rarely gets political, also spoke out against the legislation in Mississippi on her show.
I thought a lot about what I wanted to say today, and there's something I want to get off my chest. It's a mole that looks like it's changed shape, but I'm going to talk to my doctor about that. What I really want to talk about today is what happened this week in Mississippi. I don't know what Mr. Sippy's doing, but I'm very worried about Mississippi. So if you don't know, the governor of the state signed a religious freedom bill, which might sound good because the word freedom is in it. But here's what it means. Under the law, if you say for religious reasons, you can deny gay people marriage, adoption, and foster care services, fire or refuse to employ them, and decline to rent or sell them property. Now, I'm not a political person. I'm really not. But this is not politics. This is human rights. And I mean, and when I see something wrong, I have to talk about it. It's the same thing that I do when I see men wearing spandex in line at Starbucks. It's wrong, and I need to discuss it. So this issue is very personal to me, obviously. I'm disappointed for several reasons. First of all, Mississippi is the only state I know how to spell. Second of all, that is the definition of discrimination. It is also something that the Supreme Court already ruled on when they made marriage a right for everyone. Everyone. And they're supreme. I mean, that's the best you can get. It's like the Nacho Supreme from Taco Bell. The Supreme Court said the same thing that Diana Ross and the Supreme said a long time ago, stop in the name of love. And now, yes. And now Mississippi is saying, I don't second that emotion. Sometimes I think it's easier to explain things if you break it down. So imagine this. Okay, so two cupcakes walk into a flower shop, and they want to buy a dozen roses. But the florist doesn't believe in selling flowers to cupcakes because they don't have any money. But gay people do, so sell them damn flowers. I grew up in the South, right next door in Louisiana. I used to go to Mississippi as a kid all the time. My Aunt Helen lived there. So if you're in Mississippi or North Carolina or anywhere and you're saddened by the fact that people are judging you based on who you love, don't lose hope. I was fired for being gay, and I know what it feels like. I lost everything, but look at me now. I could buy that governor's mansion, flip it, and make a $7 million profit. So, I mean, look, there's already so much inequality in the world. Women's rights, gender pay gap, racism. I think we need to remember that we are more similar than we are different, and we all want the same things: love, acceptance, kindness, and I want one of those new Teslas. And so I advocate for less hate and more love, less tearing apart and more coming together, less sitting and more dancing.
Last week, we reported that the federal government is looking into whether North Carolina's anti-LGBTQ legislation may make it ineligible for federal funding for such things as schools and highways. Mississippi may now also face federal cuts by those same departments. On April 5th, Josh Earnest, the White House press secretary, called the Mississippi law outright mean-spirited. The president and his administration have long been on the side of justice and equality. Bruce Springsteen canceled a concert he had scheduled this weekend in Greensboro, North Carolina. Mr. Springsteen said in a statement, "I feel that this is a time for me and the band to show solidarity for those freedom fighters. Some things are more important than a rock show, and this fight against prejudice and bigotry, which is happening as I write, is one of them. It is the strongest means I have for raising my voice in opposition to those who continue to push us backwards instead of forwards." Representative Mark Walker called the artist a bully. Bryan Adams has also canceled a concert in Mississippi.
Leaders with the North Carolina chapter of the NAACP have issued an ultimatum to the state's legislative leadership. They are asking for a repeal of House Bill 2 by April 21st or face sit-in demonstrations at the General Assembly. Reverend William Barber, president of the North Carolina NAACP, stated at a press conference Saturday, "We are the laughingstock of a whole nation. Hate Bill 2 is the politics of Jesse Helms revisited. It's not about bathrooms. It's about oppression." South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley said April 7th that a proposed law to limit the bathrooms that transgender people can use is not needed in her state. Governor Haley said that when we look at our situation, we're not hearing of anybody's religious liberties that are being violated, and we're again not hearing any citizens that are being violated in terms of freedoms. Like it or not, South Carolina is doing really well when it comes to respect, and when it comes to kindness, and when it comes to acceptance. For people to imply it's not, I beg to differ. Tennessee's House Education Administration and Planning Committee voted on April 6th to move House Bill 2414 onto the Senate Finance, Ways and Means Committee. HB 2414 and its companion Senate Bill 2387 aim to prohibit students at any public elementary, high school, or institution of higher education from using any bathroom or locker room that does not match the sex listed on the student's birth certificate. The bill, which had been tabled until the summer session, was reconsidered after the Family Action Council of Tennessee sent emails to members of the community questioning their integrity. The group bills itself as a conservative nonprofit dedicated to protecting marriage and family, life, and religious liberty. The Human Rights Campaign released an open letter to Tennessee lawmakers urging them to abandon bills targeting trans youth in the state. The letter was signed by executives from the Dow Chemical Company, Hewlett-Packard, Enterprise, Choice Hotels Incorporated, and manufacturing company Alcoa Incorporated. It plainly states that discrimination is wrong, and we believe it has no place in Tennessee or anywhere in the country.
Also in Tennessee, on April 6th, state lawmakers passed HB 140, which would allow mental health professionals to refuse service to anyone based on the sincerely held religious beliefs of the counselor or therapist. In a statement released by the ACLU, one of the ramifications of the bill could be that people seeking counseling because they are faced with a critical dilemma in their lives and need objective guidance, allowing mental health professionals to discriminate, could cause grave damage. Many who need care already face significant barriers, including trauma, marginalization, and a historic distrust of mental health providers. For someone like a woman who wants to escape her abusive spouse, or a gay teen being bullied, this bill could affect their very survival. It passed in the House by a vote of 68 to 22, and passed the Senate with a vote of 27-5. The bill now awaits Governor Bill Haslam's signature or veto. An anti-bullying amendment that would have protected minors who are victims of bullying was stripped from the bill during a House Health Committee meeting. District Court Judge Perez Jimenez, who ruled last month that the Supreme Court ruling did not apply to Puerto Rico, was removed from the case by the appellate court, which said the judge had directly contradicted our mandate. A new judge assigned to Puerto Rico's same-sex marriage case has struck down the U.S. territory's gay marriage ban. The rulings came in a case filed by Lambda Legal on behalf of 5 couples seeking a judgment that all provisions of Puerto Rico law banning, licensing, and recognition of same-sex marriages are unconstitutional and no longer enforceable. Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf signed 2 anti-discrimination executive orders on April 7th aimed at safeguarding rights of transgender people. One order bans the state from discriminating against any employee or job applicant based on a host of criteria, including gender expression or identity. It also bans discrimination based on race, color, religious creed, ancestry, union membership, age, gender, sexual orientation, national origin, AIDS or HIV status, or disability. The second seeks to eliminate discrimination in contracting, requiring any company doing business with the state to eliminate bias in hiring and promotion.
The Iowa Senate has passed a bill that would make it a hate crime in Iowa to commit an offense against a person because that person identifies as transgender. The Democratic-controlled chamber voted 27 to 21 on April 5th. It now heads to the Republican-majority House, where its future is unclear. West Virginia University has launched a housing program for students to room together on campus, regardless of sex, gender identity, or sexual orientation. The university's True Colors community also supports students who are transgender or gender nonconforming in choosing a roommate of any gender. Housing and Residence Life staff will collaborate with the university's LGBTQ Center to provide programs for residents to explore gender identity. And now here's this week's community calendar.
Chico GCAC is holding their Take Back the Night Week from April 20th to April 22nd. This year's theme is reclaiming our voices through agency and advocacy. They want to provide an opportunity to acknowledge and empower survivors, to find strength in voicing our truth, and to reclaim the right to everyone's security. Individuals may stand in solidarity with survivors by taking action against the ongoing violence in our communities. On April 20th, there will be a screening of the movie The Hunting Ground at 6 p.m. in BMU 203. There is also Speak Up Chico, a focus group on sexual assault prevention hosted by Chico State Safe Place from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. in BMU 008. It's the first student focus group in Chico State Safe Place. The group participants will have an opportunity to share their ideas about sexual assault prevention at CSU Chico. Its responses will directly inform Safe Place's efforts to end sexual assault on CSU Chico and create a safer campus culture for all. On April 21st, the evening will start at 6 p.m. in the BMU auditorium, with the main event being Take Back the Mic at 8 p.m. GCAC will then lead a silent march through downtown Chico at 9 p.m. Take Back the Night allows the students and community members of Chico to all come together and recognize the large ongoing issue of rape culture and violence against women, and to involve themselves in the protest against it. Also on April 21st is the Youth Empowered Conference hosted by Catalyst Domestic Violence Services. This conference is for teens aged 13 to 18. Youth can register by going to their Facebook page and looking for their registration link. At the Shasta Public Library, there will be a community forum to discuss supporting LGBTQ youth in rural North California. This event will take place on April 18th at 5 p.m. It will be held at the library located at 1100 Parkview Avenue in Reading. And don't forget, every Wednesday at the Maltese is Wednesday.
Pope Francis has called for the church to be more tolerant and urged priests to be more accepting of gays and lesbians. He emphasized that unjust discrimination against gays and lesbians is unacceptable. In a paper called On Love in the Family, released April 8th, he says that every person, regardless of sexual orientation, ought to be respected in his or her dignity and treated with consideration. At the same time, the letter rejects same-sex marriage, saying that there are absolutely no grounds for considering homosexual unions to be in any way similar or even remotely analogous to God's plan for marriage and family. It is unacceptable that local churches should be subjected to pressure in this matter, and that international bodies should make financial aid to poor countries dependent on the introduction of laws to establish marriage between persons of the same sex.
Also on the topic of religion, the largest branch of Judaism in the United States passed a far-reaching resolution supporting transgender rights on April 7th. Members of the Union for Reform Judaism approved the resolution that calls for the congregations and children's camps to have gender-neutral bathrooms and encourages gender-neutral language. The resolution, which passed on a voice vote, also calls for religious schools to receive training on gender issues and urges members to lobby governments on behalf of the transgender community. Reform Judaism represents roughly 1/3 of the approximately 6 million Jews in the United States. Dozens of Orthodox rabbis have signed an edict urging religious communities to accept gay members without prejudice and ruling that homosexuals can fulfill the same community duties as their heterosexual peers. In the document, the rabbis stressed that there is no reason in halacha, the Jewish code of regulations for daily life, to exclude homosexuals. The Lutheran Church in Norway, which has around 74% of all Norwegians as members, voted at its annual conference on April 10th to bless same-sex unions. Under the new rules, priests are given the independence to choose whether to marry or not marry a same-sex couple. Norway legalized same-sex marriage in 2009. Colombia's highest court ruled on April 7th that same-sex couples have the right to marry. The 6-3 ruling by Colombia's Constitutional Court comes 9 months after hearings on the issue and more than 5 months after the same court extended adoption rights to same-sex couples. Colombia joins Argentina and just a handful of other nations in Latin America in allowing gay and lesbian couples to marry.
This week's special guest is Ange Bledsoe and her fur baby Oliver here to be with us for Fur Baby Corner.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good. It's good to see you here, and it's good to have Oliver here. Oliver has been very popular, I would say, in the LGBTQ community these last few months. So why don't you tell us about Oliver and where Oliver came from?
Sure, absolutely. First of all, thanks for having us here on the show. We really appreciate it. Oliver obviously is a star.
Oliver's relaxed.
He's very relaxed. He had a nice long walk before we showed up here. It was strategic. Oliver was adopted. I adopted him from Butte Humane Society about 2.5 years ago. And he is almost 3. He'll be
Oliver.
Come here, buddy. He'll be 3 on May 14th.
Baby.
He was about 6 months old when I adopted him.
Oh, yes.
And he's been through 3 obedience courses.
3? Why did he have to go to 3?
Well, first he went through just like a introductory, I don't know what they call it, a beginner's. He went through a beginner's and then an intermediate and then like a second intermediate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so. Oliver, come here. Yeah, hi. And his favorite snack is cheese. Sit. So we came equipped with some cheese
Did
today.
he pass with flying colors, all 3 of those obedience skills?
He did,
Yes,
absolutely.
He
He passed.
You want to show us some of the things Oliver learned?
Sure, yeah. What do you want to do today, buddy? You want to spin? Come on, spin. Come on, spin. Good boy, sit. All right. That's nice. All right, down. Good boy. I don't know if he'll do it. He doesn't really like this carpet. We'll see if he'll roll over. All right, go on, roll over. Nope, sit.
No.
Come here, Oliver, come here. Down, roll over. Keep going. No, he doesn't like the carpet. That's okay. Give me a high five. Good boy. Shake. Other paw. Good boy. Spin.
He's very interested in the camera.
Come on, spin. Yeah, good boy. He's very interested in the camera. All right. Yeah, so just a few of the things that he does.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good guy. Sit. All right. Good job.
So tell us more about Oliver. What are the kind of things Oliver likes to do during his day?
Well, Oliver's kind of a lazy guy during the day. He hangs out on the couch most of the time whenever we're not at home. And then he really enjoys going for walks in the park.
He really enjoys the camera.
Yeah. Oliver, come. Good boy. Sit. Yeah, okay.
Good boy.
Verbena Fields is right behind our house, and so he enjoys going back there and playing in the creek when there's water in the creek.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just likes to be around people. Come on.
You're a good boy. Yes, you are. You're a good boy. Can you do a trick for me? Would you sit for me if I said sit?
If you had a piece of cheese, he'd probably
had
do
a
about
piece of
anything for
cheese?
you. There you go. And the hand signal is just like a closed fist.
Oliver.
Good boy.
Oliver.
Look, she's
You want
got
to sit for me? Oh, what a good boy. Yes, you
Yeah,
are. There
good
you
boy.
are. Yeah, see, no more.
good boy.
No more. So you got Oliver. Where exactly did you get Oliver?
Butte Humane Society.
Butte Humane Society. Great place to find someone to rescue you.
Yes, absolutely. And that is definitely what happened. He
I think I remember correctly with
Oliver, come.
Oliver's off kissing the face of one of the cameramen.
Yes.
If I remember correctly, when you got Oliver, there were like, I think it was 3 Facebook posts a minute for the first few weeks.
Something like that.
I got to know Oliver very well.
Yeah, I was like that, you know, when they're like people have new family members, they want to introduce them and share them with the world, and Oliver was no different. Come here, bub.
Come back on, because you're her fur baby, right?
Yeah.
Yes, your fur baby. Oh, what a good baby you are. Yes, you are. I'm very happy to see you. So how is the rest of your family? I mean, are they as dedicated to Oliver as you are?
I'm definitely the dog person in my house. I live with 2 self-proclaimed cat people, but we make it work. You know, I'm responsible for most of his care. Hey, Oliver, come.
Oliver really likes Skylar.
Oliver,
that is Skylar over there on camera.
Come on.
Next time he does that, yes. Next time he does, did you get that?
I got that one.
Next time he does that, Skylar, go see Skylar. Go see Skylar.
Go see him. He's your friend.
He's really in love with Skylar for some reason. He likes licking you.
And we've lost Oliver. Come here, bud.
Yep, come on.
Oliver, come.
That's why we call him for baby. He can do whatever he wants. He's the star tonight. You're the co-star. He's the star.
It's all about Oliver.
It's all about Oliver. That could be a show. It's all about Oliver. So is there anything else you want to tell us about Oliver?
He's a great guy. He, you know, he's kind of like my best friend. He goes with me wherever I can take him, and he cuddles up with me at night. And, you know, if I were a dog, I would definitely want to be Oliver because he gets treated very well.
Such a good boy. You are such a good boy. Yes, you are. Okay. Well, it was nice to have you on the show, Oliver.
Yeah.
It was nice to have you on the show as well. It's
Excellent.
good to see you. Thank you very much for bringing your fur baby on the show.
You're welcome.
I think
Thanks
he's
for
going to
having me.
steal the show tonight.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
And next week, our special guest is, where am I looking? That can be cut out right there. Next week, our special guest will be Dr. Lori Bennett Cook.
Let's try here.
Next week, our special guest will be Dr. Lori Bennett Cook. If any of you are interested in appearing on our show as a guest to either promote an event or showcase your own business or talent, please email us at therainbowr@gmail.com or visit us at our Facebook page, The Rainbow Review. The Rainbow Review is dependent on support from the community. If you're interested in sponsoring our show, please contact us for details. All contributions are tax deductible. And that is our show for the week. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful night. I'm wearing this outfit 3 weeks for our special guest because I've taped 3 of them in the same outfit.
Hi.
Well, Oliver, you were such a star.
Yeah.
There's going to be lots of pictures of Oliver kissing the camera.
Yes.
Probably with us talking in the background.
Right,
It'll
us-
probably be mostly Oliver.
Us hammering on.
Mostly Oliver.
That's great. It's about him, not me.
So just mute it before you take it off.
Do I get some pre-roll on this?
It's already.
Okay.
How's the sound? I turned my sound on.
Are both your sounds on?
There's some Oliver close-ups for you.
Hey, buddy.
And we're going to talk about 7 minutes or so.
7.
Yeah, there's plenty of time, believe me.
Okay.
ABC, 1, 2, 3. I love you, you love me.
I hang out in a server room for hours in a day, and it's like,
Oh, look at the great picture of
super
Oliver. Look at
loud.
that. Look at that great picture.
yeah, my boy.
Oh, that'll be a great close-up when we put his little name across the bottom, too. Does he have a last name?
No.
Okay.
Good boy, Oliver.
We ready?